Good evening to one and all. I, Harshal Baheti, representing all the student managers of Sri Balaji Society, extend a warm welcome to our guest, Mr. Sauvik Banerjjee, who is Vice President Digital Initiatives, Chief Technology Officer of TataCLiQ, and advisory to group company at Tata Industry Limited. Instead of me introducing Sauvik Banerjjee sir, I put forth facts about his achievements which describes him more eloquently. Sir is a technology evangelist who has spent 32 who has spent 23 years of United Kingdom. He is an entrepreneur who ran to successful startup in United Kingdom. Sir is also TEDx speaker, an author as well as technology blogger. He is mentor from MIT USA Startup Hub. Sir has been recognized globally for his product building capabilities in technology over last 18 years. He has over 20 years of experience evangelizing digital innovation across Europe, UK, US and other countries. He has mentored over 600 senior. We are also proud to state that Sauvik Banerjjee sir is also mentor of our alumni and teacher, the one and only dynamic Deepak Rai sir. Sir has delivered over 143% growth across India and Europe for organizations like Infosys, Accenture, SAP and Tata Industries. He was the head of Omni-Channel Commerce, Chief of Executive Accenture, United Kingdom. He was founder and MD of Fidox, Britain's first online back catalog e-commerce company. Sir was also founder and MD of Britain's first SME e-commerce platform, Banmeet. And now, at present, Sir is Vice President Digital Initiatives, Chief Technology Officer of TataCLiQ and advisory to group company at Tata Industries Limited. Sir, with such a rich experience and knowledge, we are eager to hear from you.
Now, I request our alumni and teacher, the dynamic Deepak Rai sir, to say a few words.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing? Fantastic. Shawshank Dada, you know I love you. Welcome to my alma mater, Bro Code. Yeah. So it's been when I look back, it's really been a fascinating couple of months, and some time that we know each other, and Providence, thank God that I came into contact with you, and here we are. I've got this incredible blessing and opportunity to be able to introduce you to my alma mater. And, I got this opportunity. Our founder, Honorable Bala sir, said, why don't you come to the campus and, talk to our young family members that have just joined the family. And this is really historic. This is rich. And I'm telling you, guys, you need to fasten your seat belts. You don't know who's in the house. I think you got a little flavor of what's going to come in the next couple of minutes. But Sauvik Dada, these are our new induction batch of 2018-2020. And, it just gives me an incredible pleasure to introduce you to them. And really, Sauvik Dada is mentor to the mentors. And that is a distinction that very few in the world can really have. And, I'm just one of his, mentees. What maybe we missed in his formal introduction, and Sauvik Dada, I said, we probably required 2 hours of session just to introduce him and just to uncover his personality. And what we just got to know is Sauvik Dada actually played with the captain of the Indian national team, the Dada of Kolkata in the Ranjis. So he's a sportsman, cricketer par excellence. He's an intellectual. He is a doer, a dreamer, an entrepreneur, and a person who has motivated a lot of startups, co-founded, invested his hard-earned money to be able to give them wings. So here we are, someone who has really taken his hard-earned money and really gone and invested in somebody else's lives and their dreams. So this is an incredible opportunity for all of us to kind of take notes and pay heed and just take notes, right, and just love the session. And Sauvik Dada, by the way, if some people don't know, he's also had a production company where he's invested in short films and documentaries, and he has ties to the film industry. His short plays and documentaries have won the Sundance Festival Awards and Cannes, and that's just the flavor, the color that his personality has. So I don't want to be the barrier between you and Sauvik Dada now. Sauvik Dada, the floor and the house is yours.
So, good evening. My name is Sauvik. Can you just say Sauvik? One more, just Sauvik? Sauvik. Good. Or Dada. You can say Dada as well. Dada. That sounded the best. My journey is weird. Very, very, very organic. Today we are going to talk about leadership lessons. 100% we're going to talk about leadership lessons because we have some time. But what I want you guys to think is, first years, all of you guys are first years? Yes, sir. 2 months old? Yes, sir. Okay. So it's a monumental transition phase in your lives. It's when, the cocoon which mom and dad protects you, your family protects you, you're taking the first big jump. You are going to be part of the next few years, arguably the most, let me put it this way, exciting. Friendships would be made in the next few years which will last lifetime. There would be relationships would be made which might end up having major impacts in your lives. And it's not through only Facebook and Twitter and Insta. They'll be there. This is an opportunity where you will make a mark in the world. I'm going to go a little deeper on this, and then we'll talk about the rest. Do read a book called Audacity of Hope. It's written by an individual when he was a lawyer. That lawyer became a senator. That senator became the President of America. His name was Barack Obama. He wrote and he believed that if you make the President of America 100 years down the line, you will be a footnote in the history books. Think of it very, very carefully. So you have to make a mark. If the President of America becomes a footnote, then we all have to make a mark in the history books. Why we will be able to make a huge mark is where we are at this position, where India stands right now. India's leapfrogging or pivot will happen through people sitting in this room. It is not going to be done by people who's talking. Yes, I will make another impact. I'll probably create another big platform. But this is the bunch and many other people across your industry, your age group, which is who I call the digital native. See, we came when there was, so I grew up, and bulk of your parents would have grown up, didn't have internet, 1, didn't have cable television, 2, they all came while we were growing up, 3, we didn't have mobile phones. Whereas you guys, and raise of hands, for the last 3 years, how many people have been using WhatsApp in this room? It's about 97, 98%. How many people have been using Facebook for the last 3 years in this first year batch? Okay. How many people in the last 2 years have used Ola and Uber? Ola. How many people have start, you all have, I would imagine, bank accounts now. How many people do online banking? You guys don't need digital transformation. You are digital natives. You're born in the connected era, which is 6 billion devices right now and will grow more and more. So whatever impact you will do, this is not going away. There will be bigger things. There'll be Tinder and all sorts of applications which will come and which will make people meet. But this, what you meet, is important, because I built all my companies, and I'm still in building them, with people who I went to school or who I went to college or who I went and did my masters with. Because I trust. Trusting is key to becoming a global leader. 2, trust is the backbone of digital platforms. If you don't trust, you will not buy. If you don't trust, you will not use. So the physical trust is as important as a digital trust. Okay, saying that, we will break this segment into 3 parts. One is, I'll talk about my journey and why I ended up doing digital before digital got spelt in this part of the world and many other parts of the world. What helped me and how I used to think. How am I able to still play sports and work on sensors which is going to impact how a bat plays, and that will tell the coach that the impact of this guy's bat is important because it is part of IoT. How I'm able to work on an online digital streaming platform and make my movies completely on an iPhone to a digital 5D and render and edit and deploy it without moving into a studio. And then again, what are the key areas? What do you need to know? So the global digital part of life is going to be there, whether you agree or not. Whether you end up doing manufacturing and you start building steel and glass works, to whether you start building content for Netflix. That's the era you live in. How is important. What is important? When is important? On these 3 things lies a top master. What is that? Okay. Why is that? I'll tell you something very important. There's about 60 million tweets happening every second across the world. It's growing. Over 20 million Facebook posts coming through. There's 4 petabytes worth of YouTube content getting consumed every minute, every 60 seconds. If you want to be a marketeer, you need to know your data. If you want to form a startup, you need to know your data. If you want to work in sales, you need to know your data. If you want to invent something, you need to know your data. This is how I used to think when I was your age. How do I solve? So, bulk you will go and work for great organizations, but you have to solve day-to-day operational problems. Right? How do I solve? How do I invent? An invention could be as important as a Pudina goli. You know what Patanjali has become, right? Over 5,000 crore revenue. That had marketing, that had manufacturing, that had clinical trials, that had consumer research, and that had everything. Ignore the brand ambassador and the guy who founded it. But what does it impact our society? You will be part of creating products, platforms, and many other areas and services. So there are 3 areas which you will always work, right? What does Tata Steel do? Manufacture steel, right? If I tell you Tata Steel monetizes on the steel data they have acquired 20 years, you say, Dada, what are you talking about? But that's true. Tata Steel is monetizing the data. When ThyssenKrupp got merged with Tata Steel few months back and big Tata Steel becomes completely global, they said, give us the data you had for the last 20 years in Asia Pac region and in the India subcontinent. So, they do manufacture steel, but they're also giving insights. Very important. Invent. Last is execute. So the how part is very important. Whenever you are doing right now, the leadership part comes later. Whatever you're doing right now, if you have a breakup, how did I break up? When? What was the data? What did it go wrong? How many times did we fight? Oh, we were having a fantastic friendship or a relationship. Again, thoughts are all data. What does our left brain represent? Creativity. What does our right brain represent? Correct. You'll all be either this or that, and some people can balance these two. But how do you operate? Yeah, you can watch Prime and Netflix and YouTube, and you can watch your music on, you can hear your music on Savan, and hours pass by. Take a step back and always think, did I do or consume anything which was important from a content consumption point of view? When you watch a YouTube video, is it adding value? Watching a movie adds value. Entertainment for me. Watching a talk means a guy who, say, suppose you're watching Steve Jobs' talk, what does it represent? You're downloading the experience Steve Jobs or Steven Spielberg has into your life. That's downloadable in 2 minutes into your head. Are we going to use it? Of course we're going to use it, right? We're not going to make mistakes what Jobs made. We're not going to walk away from Apple just because I was an arrogant man. I can't show arrogance. Yes, I went and formed Pixar, but I came back. And then I built today's greatest gadget, which the world has converted into. So if you don't apply your data, you will not be able to do it. One of my favorite movies, and watch it, this is a must, been voted as the greatest movie in the last 100 years, is called Shawshank Redemption. Have you seen it? Yes, sir. Impressed? How many people want to be Red? Or how many people want to be Andy? Andy? How many Andys? Why do you like Andy? Have you thought through? By the way, just raise of hands. How many people have watched it? Yeah, pretty much 50% of this hall has watched. Do watch it who haven't watched it. That movie is a textbook. That movie is a textbook to do what, you know? Courage, invention, stakeholder management, hope, patience, observation, adaptation. I heard strategy somewhere. What else? What else? Okay, I'll point out and take those ones. You were saying? What were you saying? Process. Hope. Freedom. That way, I heard strategy from there. Anyone else? Here? Commitment. I just heard one more word. Daring. Very important. Execution. Planning. Wow. Salvation. Belief. Improvise. Dedication. 20 years you can't do anything. You can't get out of a jail if you don't disrupt, innovate, invent. How can you get out? You can't. That man planned, executed, made the corruption visible, would he have been able to convince Red? Took Red out, and would he have been able to do any of that if he was not a thinking man? Answer is yes or no? No, right? No, you wanted to say no, but you said yes. That I can understand. See, what Andy did was, he thought, continuously thought. When you execute, you have to plan. It has to be projects when you're intern, but if you take anything from this talk, become the CEO of your own life. What will you do? Become the CEO of your own life. That means you have to manage a P&L, means your budget and your wallet. You have to manage people. You have to put processes. I have to wake up at 6, go for a jog, eat XYZ, go to the class, get data, take a walk, meet some friends, do XYZ in the evening, chill out, watch content. You have to put a process. If you are process driven and creative, which is what the combination of what we were discussing, me and Deepak, it's very important. You can be a great director and your film will be shown in Netflix, and you can also be the chief digital officer of X. It's possible. It's sitting in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. That is possible. And that was always possible. You know why? Because it is a template which was created. All-round word is not a feeble word. If you are a CEO, if you are a digital officer, if you are a technology officer, you have to be a people person. And you have to be process oriented. The world's greatest organizations are created by what? Individually? Hit Steve Jobs. Was Steve Jobs able to create Apple by himself? Answer yes or no. Was Bill Gates able to create Microsoft just by himself? Answer yes or no. Was Mukesh Ambani able to create Jio just by himself? Yes or no. How did it happen? People, large teams, hundreds of people, thousands of people operating for one single goal. Has to go live. When Tim Cook comes up and says, I'm going to launch iPhone, 11, 12, whatever it is. Whole team across the world, manufacturing in China, to marketing across every market unit, to distributor network, to the inventors, to the code, to the patenting office, to the legal systems. All the applications of digital platforms comes and says, 15th August, we will go live. All of them people are working towards it. So people, without each other, without bounce boarding, you will not be able to achieve it. But why will people work with you? Is your skill, which is inherent. Some people can speak well, some people can sell well, some people can process data well, some people can think well. But you will not be able to do it all by yourself. You will have to have someone who will complement your skills. So some are default skills you already have based on the values and the grooming system which your parents have given him or your family has given you. Now is the world to do. So those are inherited skills. Those are native skills. I'm a sportsman, so I'm agile. My heart rate is 60 compared to 72. Every sportsman's heart rate is between 50 and 60. Those are inherited. You have honed it up. What you are doing now is the concept called acquired skill. Acquired skill is important and complements all the value system which has given you the native skills. It's extremely important. What? Question. What is happening around you? Happenings. What leads to observation? Continuous observation. You're taking a rickshaw from here to going to Hinjwadi. if you observe, you will see one chaiwala stall has more queue than the other ones. It's weird. That means he's doing something right. Let's go and talk to that guy. Don't stop yourself. Nobody will get offended. Observation. What? Very, very important. And then analyze. That rickshaw has a radio, has some lights, and his seat and couch is quite clean. Everybody likes cleanliness. That means what? He cares about customer experience. Learn from micro little parts of life. It is essentially important. How important, you have no idea when you become a corporate professional or when you have your own enterprise. Observe, question, analyze day to day. And the third part, which is very, very important. So happenings, observations, there is a subset. When you interact with those observations on your day-to-day life, you will find the reason to be why they are doing it. Aspiration could be looking after family, wealth, a good lifestyle, buying a house, buying a car, buying a palace. But aspirations are important. That will trigger your aspirations. What are your aspirations? Do you want to be the richest man on the planet? Everyone wants to be that. Or do you want to be Mother Teresa? Or do you want to be Reed Hastings from a DVD rental shop? That man went into a DVD rental called Netflix, and look what happened. Or do you want to be Reed Hastings? That's important. The question of why are they doing it? Which leads to aspirations. A lot of people might have told you, dream. Think of dream. Dream as much as possible. Great, I love dreaming. There's dream interpreting machines right now if you YouTube it. And they'll tell you, what does dream do? But I say something different. I say, stop dreaming, start visualizing. If I visualize that a year down the line, I want to set up an agricultural platform in the northern part of India. I visualize that a platform is there, farmers are adopting. What do I need to do? I'll plan it back. Retro planning will happen. I'll say I need funds, I need resources, I need tech, I need adopters, I need stakeholder managers, I need government connections, I need panchayat connections. I will start planning. As soon as you visualize, dreams are great, but you have to visualize it. If you visualize, then comes the planning retrofittingly. It will happen. Just try it out with anything. Just try helping it out, saying that next time I am with my parents on a Saturday, Sunday, I'm visualizing of helping her with the entire garden or with the flowers. Or I'll do the entire grocery by myself without parents knowing it. If you visualize this, you'll work towards planning it. Little things of life make this leapfrogging happen. It becomes part of your DNA. It becomes part of your thinking. When? This is the most important part. When do I power myself? In this digital era, everybody knows, if they want to find out, everybody knows what you're doing. Hygiene. If you want to be part of this digital era, if you want to become great corporate executives, senior professionals going forward, switch off. Switch off. What are you going to do? For a day. Just see the fun you have. Switch off from Insta, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, everything. For a day. You can be with your friends, just switch off. Magic happens. Magic happens. I'm an extremely huge, I'm a blogger, I social network, I tweet every day, I posts every day, I Insta, I've got a young family. I switch off for a day. Every week I switch off for a day. I will not launch any of it. Any of them. You know what it lets me do? It lets me think. I am not fed information. I am building my own creativity. Extremely important. I do it because I want to write. And if I write, I have to think, I have to research. If you want to think of your organization, if you want to think of how a working professional you will be, if you want to think how great your results and your semesters you're going to crack, one day a week, switch off. Is that a promise? Do it. Because I'm not asking you to switch off for the rest of the week. One day switch off. Could be any day. When you do that, the when starts coming through. The when is the timing which is needed. You need to be at the right place at the right time. You ask any global leader, they will say one answer, I was at the right place at the right time. But they have constructed that being at the right place at the right time. I've thought of an idea. There's an example I'm going to give you which will scare you. There's a friend of mine. China used to have a lot of content. Exactly like Ekta Kapoor serials. A lot of content. Chinese are obsessed as well. They have their own version of Nagins. So, yeah, I mean, look at the mythology, look at the civilization. Look at how far they go back. Suddenly in the South China Sea, some of the countries banned Chinese content. There's a friend of mine who used to be a content builder. Of course, he went to US, studied, came back. He said, yeah, these countries have stopped banning Chinese content. The entire Vietnam, Philippines, that entire area between Indonesia, Malaysia are devoid of Chinese content. They said, I'll go to these countries and say if there is any appetite for Indian content. So Kasauti Zindagi Ki is translated in Vietnamese right now and it's getting consumed. Did you know that? What did that individual do? He thought and he had created the translation of this content and he had bought the rights. Oh, he was sitting on it. Someday he was trying to do something, but he was doing well. He was working for a bank. So he said, redundant content, all 10, 15 years old of Indian school drama, all Star Plus and all Sony's madness which we have seen, was all there. Nobody watches it. Nobody watches Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi in India anymore. Nobody watches Kusum anymore. True, right? Why would we watch? We've got Netflix, we've got Amazon, we've got Voot, we've got Hotstar, and we have got all sorts of digital content at our fingertips. When he went to Vietnam and Philippines and Indonesia, they love our emotion. This guy right now is one of the richest person in the country selling Indian Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi content across Uganda to Rwanda to Southeast of Asia. His name is Vivek Lad. Google him. A great friend. When is important. Opportunities will come. If you don't grab it, it'll go away. Opportunities will come. Opportunities came. That's why Jasprit Bumrah has become Jasprit Bumrah. Opportunities came. That's why Sunil Chhetri became Sunil Chhetri. And opportunity came to an individual, going to be very, very strong what I'm going to say now. When he retired, he was well off. Opportunity came to him. His first vote, he had 16 votes, 0 seat. Second vote, 1800 seats. Nothing major. Lost. 48 hours back, the man who picked up the World Cup has become the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And he was the man who represented Pakistan in UN to ask the Americans to stop the drones. Not evangelizing the conflict, but think of that man's determination. He had retired before 1992 World Cup. Opportunity came and said, I will try and make an impact. You know, the biggest software hub in Asia, India subcontinent and Asia is at Pakistan. You know, there are 7 telecoms. We have 4. There are 7 telecoms in that country, which is weird. And he was evangelizing all of those for the last 20 years. Got lost, got shot. He's an entrepreneur. He's a digital enthusiast. But he was a fantastic opportunist. Right time, he killed it. Took him 20 years because it's politics. Think of what that man has become. There possibly could be something we can expect from those Muppets. Because that man's background and credibility is alright. Not too good, but as an achiever, is alright. See, opportunities come again. So, opportunities will come again. I'll tell you a very interesting story. A man walking in Trondheim. A man walking in Trondheim, which is a city in Norway. Little village, very much like the foothills towns of us. Of course, Norway doesn't have any population. See, that guy was not thinking right now. So he saw something, a little cartoon and a duck. He said, okay. And he started drawing. That man now is the founder of Angry Birds. Don't ignore. So opportunities are important. Ops. Number 2, what you need to do right now. Any content which you like, because of course you don't know what you want to do. You want to work, you want to do, you want to work for a startup, you want to work for an enterprise, you want to do thing. You don't know right now, right? Because your prioritizing sessions have not come through. But how would you do prioritization? You have to select something going forward. Again, in the when, for preparing for the when, you will have to be data obsessed. Obsess about data whenever you see something which is off the track. Last point is something which is very hygiene, which we have stopped doing, which is very important you guys can do right now, is take a step back. Take a step back and think only one thing. Is there a problem or a solution which I can provide in my ecosystem? I ask this question, this is a favorite question of mine. When you walk into a retail store in India in a mall, you know, there is a security guard who's standing and who's giving you the token when you have a bag. Good. And he knows you have come in. The store till guy knows you have come in. There is CCTV camera, they know you have come in. In a day, how do they count how many people have come into, example, a Pantaloon store or a Fab India store or I don't know, Reliance Trend store or any of the designer stores? Any idea? They have a clicker, right? And we are in digital India. Solve that. Let's solve the problem. Why? And he's not going to be accurate because it's human being. He's not a machine. He's not using video surveillance. He will go for a washroom break. He will go for a coffee break. He has to eat his lunch. Let's solve that problem. Seriously? We're ordering food and ordering Ola and Uber and we are being counted on a clicker which an umpire in a cricket match uses. Not even that. Can you imagine this problem? Honestly, I have given this problem to IIMs and the ISBs and the Symbiosises of the world. Nobody has solved this problem. Can you imagine a $1 billion industry in trying to understand your customer footprint in a retail mall? Deepak? On a platform, on a site, we have that. We have analytics. Human counter? Seriously? Solve that. Look around. What you can solve. Gaps. That's what you need to do for the next year. Head orientation. Things you should know, where the world is moving ahead. Very, very important. What is BCI? Brain Computing Interface. What is TUI? Tangible User Interface. Can I have the camera pointed to my phone for a second? Can you do that? I want to show these guys something. It might just be very, very odd, but just see what I'm trying to do here. Now watch. Just hold on. Thank you, guys. Watch. How's that? Thank you. You got an idea. Tangible user interface. Be aware of what these guys are doing. Then we have droplet programming. One at a time. I'll tell you why it's important for you guys to know. Thank you. I'll tell you why it's important for you guys to understand analytics. Without analytics, we can't do IoT. Without analytics, we can't do data mining. Without analytics, we can't do deep learning. Without analytics, and there's nothing called machine learning, to be honest. I did a research doctorate in '99 on NLP, natural language processing. Look, 20 years it's taken the bloody world to work on it. It's absolutely important what you have to think ahead. You saw I was being magneto. I was trying to control object remotely. If this technology was available, would I have not been able to bring the kids back from the cave a little earlier? Isn't it? If this technology was available, when the blast furnaces warm down and we can't clean, would I not be able to do it? Still tech. It still requires a business case. It still requires something to be built and sold. Brain computing interface is that tangible user interface. YouTube it. The original media, MIT Media Lab's YouTube videos are there. We're just funding that one and want to be ahead in 5-10 years time ahead so that we can bring that sort of capabilities, and we should build that sort of capabilities from institutes like this. Second, BCI. Again, YouTube it. A complete coma patient, complete vegetable. We all have somewhere in our families. He's asked a question in the evening. John, would you have rice or tea? He has never spoken. He has never moved. He's completely paralyzed. A graph goes out in front of a screen saying that he wants rice. It's a BCI chip in your head. When you go through paralysis, not all your brain cells are dead. Some of them are alive and kicking. Who's seen Munna Bhai MBBS? Anand, you remember Anand's character? Blink? He was blinking? That's what we're working on. But for mass people, we have to save the water, right? We have to save the water. We have shortage of water. Marathwada goes through madness every summer. We're trying to ensure water is saved at the droplet level. At the droplet level, we are trying to save water. Again, YouTube, Dr. Udayan Umapathi's programmable droplets. He probably will get a Nobel in the next 4 years or 5 years soon. YouTube him. He's an Indian. You're able to split water and merge water. That's playing God. What I just did, that's playing the real power of what human brains can do. Yes, IoT is important. Yes, deep learning is important. Yes, machine learning is important. That's now. That's now. I use 100 algorithms on TataCLiQ. Open up the TataCLiQ platform from a browser. Every time you come back, you'll see an experience different. Flipkart uses 350 machine learning algorithms. Netflix uses 600 recommendation algorithms, deep learning. Did you think that how is your recommendation always coming up when you log into Netflix? Why is Netflix ahead than Hotstar and Amazon Prime? Deep learning and machine learning recommendation algorithms. Read about it, it's public knowledge. They are very proud to say these things. That's happening now. That's deep learning now. You have to know it. You have to know your statistics, mathematics. You have to know your data. You have to know your artistry. You have to know your management skills. You might not create it, but you might power it. You might not power it, but you might enable it. You might not enable it, but you might influence it. You're going to be part of this ecosystem. That's the power of our left and right brain. That's the power. The man who you just saw is moving matter is sitting 10 feet, 100 feet, 40 feet away from you. Nothing is impossible. This is the time. If you don't do it at this age, first year, spend it all whiling away, watching content, you will lose the opportunity what life will give you. People like you have changed the world. It's happening day to day. That's where the power of our left and right brain is. Do not stop thinking. Every time a thought comes, write it down. Anytime. That might be the next billion-dollar idea. You can come from whichever background. Ideas are agnostic to a race, caste, and society. The greatest of ideas have come from the most unknown places and most unknown human beings. 3 digital trends follow. Don't have to follow anything else. BCI, TUI, and the last, which is important. Can a man fly? The answer is yes. Flying user interface. It is happening. It gets smarter and smarter. Nanochips are going to power our souls. From Nike to the hoverboard teams, they're all trying to make a human being fly. It's bound to happen. Think ahead. It's like story. It's like watching a movie. You just got wowed, right? You like that, what you just saw. That's what I also love. I love watching, Narcos, and I love watching Game of Thrones. Of course I love. They're great entertainment. Watch the making of Avatar, when invention was created, when James Cameron created Pandora. He created a technology which was used in Michael Bay's Transformers. That tech is IP'd and patented by James Cameron. Now, you're going to have Pandora under the sea. Again, a new tech he has created. He's created a business of building IPs. A filmmaker, a director. A filmmaker and a director, he's shooting the greatest of actors, and he's creating a business. He's creating IPs. He's creating tech. And it didn't come from nothing different from what you guys are. Exactly, he also started here. The power to influence and build. You will work for the greatest organizations in the world. Greatest Indian organization. India is going to pivot like anything. But do not forget 3 things. Trust, belief system, values. You know what I do? I'll give you a very, 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 very different example. I lost my parents five 5 years back. 2011, I lost my dad. 2014, I lost my mom. My dad was a cerebral individual, a PhD in quantum physics and a PhD in cryogenics. My mom was a cricketer, that's where it comes from, and was an entrepreneur. I have a young family. I'm 42. When I stop and struggle, problems, day-to-day problems, I go back to three things: belief system, values, and who do I trust and what do I trust? You will never ever fail in life. If you fail, you'll pick up if you have those three pieces in your life. Nobody is going to stop you. Global digital pieces are going to happen. Analytics, data obsession is important. I repeat, the trend is data obsession. If you work for a B2C organization, customer obsession. You will feel different when you go to Taj and when you go to another hotel. Customer obsession is important. How well do they treat you? Amazon treats you in a separate way. We treat you in a separate way. Flipkart. So these things, these core value systems are important. Customers. We're all customers, right? Family, my Mosi, my Kaka, my Chacha, my Pupa, all of these guys are there, right? I deal with them differently. My Mama, stakeholder management. Talk to you from day one. You need that when you interact with your managers and their CXOs and your colleagues. Very, very important. Digital is important. Physical is very important to India. We love going and watching Sanju in the cinema hall, right? But then we love our Hotstar content. We love going to a shopping mall and shop and go to the food court, right? We all like it, right? Right. But we all like shopping online. India is a there are many Indias living within India. India is the most important cultural ecosystem which the world will have, better than the Chinese, because we have tolerance built in. We have tolerance built in when I code and I deploy with another individual from a different state, different language. I have tolerance, right? Important. Digital cannot exist if you are intolerant. Intolerant towards the cultural value system I bring. I am a Bengali from Calcutta. I'm talking to an audience who's diverse. You guys have come from. I have a connect, right? I have connected in what? In 50 minutes I have had a connect with you guys? You promise you will become anything but the connector between yourselves. You can't build enterprises, I reiterate. You can't build enterprises, you can't build communities. Life is not about Facebook groups. You have to build a Facebook. That's where we are. I think I've taken enough of your time. You remember all of this? You will YouTube GUI, BCI and FUI and hoverboards? You will not be what? Stop being inquisitive. You will be what? Q? Say it loud. You will not stop questioning. Yes or no? Yes. Very good. With that note, I will finish. Thank you.
Fantastic, Dada. This is incredible. You've opened our minds and hearts to things that probably we've heard some of the words and concepts for the first time. Yeah? How many agree? Fantastic. This is an incredible masterclass and a great kickoff to the series in digital global leadership business transformation series. So, Shawshank Dada, I know you got to hurry, but
I want you guys to have some questions thrown at me.
Fantastic.
And if you want to give it to Deepak, I'm happy to answer them as well.
What we'll do is maybe we can have some mics. Do we have some extra wireless mics? Okay. Okay, the mics are on. And anybody who has any question? Okay, maybe on the top. Let's see, Shawshank Dada, I know the ladies are here. The ladies are incredibly intelligent here. And you'll see a lot of questions.
There's a blog I wrote. Again, I am from technology, so I couldn't. Women in Tech by 2020. Google it. Sauvik Banerjjee, Women in Tech. See the stats, what I've written up. You guys will be better programmers. You guys will be better coders than the men, but there's an amount of precision which you guys bring in, which is an observation. I have just picked up data. That's an observation. Do go through that blog. I think I wrote for CXO India or something.
Fantastic. What we're going to also do is maybe, Shawik, I will take all your connects and page
Sure.
information. I can pass it on to the WhatsApp groups we have in the institute. Okay, wonderful. So please, you got Shawik Dada here for a couple of more minutes. So fire out. Any questions?
So it was a great time with you and great learnings from you. So like you are already the king of digital, the digital
I'm not king.
in the world.
I'm not king. One, I'm just ahead of a little few years than a few people. Is what you can just say. I just am trying to do things which is, just trying to do things a little ahead.
So I just want to know, like I want to be in the digital marketing only. So I want to know if you can suggest few of the things like we can do as a course, which will help in our.
I think your course is already very strong. I just had a teaser by all your professors to me. It's very strong. Web analytics, mobile analytics, without the data you can't market. So know your data, one. Facebook analytics, Facebook has its own analytics. GA is free. Put it up on one of your friends' websites, GA, and see the analysis of what GA is. Three, there's a digital market, but a very, very simple model. Can I wipe this off?
Yes, sir.
So, digital marketing does what? Digital marketing means I want to market in all digital platforms via digital means, right? So, you need to do planning, campaigns, segment. So, then you need to do insight. How much are you going to put on forward? Then you need to segment. Then you need to target. Then you need to recommend. Example, if I want to run a Facebook campaign, I will first plan target audience. How much am I going to spend? Spends, which will give me ROAS, return on ad spend. Segment, I want to segment an 18 to 30-year-olds, men living in South Mumbai and Koramangala, and 30 to 45-year-olds living in via geolocation in Delhi, Siliguri, and Trichy. Target. What day parting strategy? Time of the day. In what digital forums? And how is it going to come? As a Facebook ad, FB ad, as a sponsored ad, or is it a remarketing ad? Follow the model. Follow the model and read up, and your courses are pretty strong. They are going to walk you through this anyway.
Thank you, sir.
As today's era is totally content driven, people are eating content. So
Eating?
they are living in content.
Okay.
So what if we are looking for content development, which type of content should be developed?
So there's visual content.
Yes.
There's audio content.
Yes.
There's audio visual content.
Yes.
And there's digital content.
Yes.
Okay. Content starts from conceiving for what channel first. Again, analysis has to be done. Are you targeting an Android user? Are you targeting a desktop user? Are you targeting an iOS user? Or are you targeting a browser of Chrome on mobiles? Or are you targeting Safari users? First is content for what channel. Then define your content. Is it static, dynamic, or a mix of both? That is defining. Am I going to use data from other places which I'm going to pull through APIs, RSS feeds, XYZ? Am I going to have only static, brute force, website-driven, static native content? Then you decide producing the content. There are content authors. There's content creation, all the imagery, all the videos, whether you're taking a video from iPhone and then porting it across to YouTube and then pasting that link on Facebook or on any other platforms. So content production. And then content targeting. Where are you targeting your content to get the maximum number of optics? I can't have a search bar in the middle of the page. Have you ever seen a platform or a website with a search bar in the middle of the page or the bottom of the page? Why not? Because top right hand corner gets the biggest optics on a screen. That's why search is on your right or at the bottom top. There is a science behind it. Why search bar is not at the bottom. Define your content and your real estate. The real estate is not buildings. Real estate is the space on the app or on the platforms where the grids are. How would you define your grids? Okay. So those are the pieces to jumpstart you guys.
Thank you, Tata.
Hi.
So hi, my name is Jugal.
Hi, Jugal.
And so first of all, it is a great pleasure to have you here, and we are really lucky to have you here. I would like to thank first of all Deepak Rai sir and the management for letting us have this wonderful opportunity.
So can I just say something?
Yes.
I was so impressed with what the curriculum structure is. I want to give a big round of applause to the management, the professors, and Deepak. And one more round for yourselves for being a great audience and asking me these questions. You're on.
So coming to my question, it's a bit philosophical. So you spoke about trust and belief system.
And value system.
Yeah, and value system. So I am a bit weak at that, and I
Wait,
can't.
which part?
So both. So I would like you to elaborate on both the parts. Like how can we build a strong trust system, and what are the exact parameters we should work on?
So I think there's a simple answer to that, and there's a completely different conversation. And in workplace, how trust is important. There's series of books, there's series of articles which is written, which you can read. But more importantly, what I meant by trust is define trust in your life. Definition of trust is very important. I trust Deepak, or I trust Balaji Institute's quality of student. For between saying that, so I'm trusting, I will bring people in. That means what? The trust factor is important and dependent on many factors. Credibility, reputation, confidence building. I can be transparent with somebody. Trust is important in life. Default, you have to trust people. I can't think, whenever I meet and make a handshake with an individual, I can't think he's a horrible individual. How odd is that? He's an amazing guy. I will know him. I will work with him. I will be friends with him. I'll be colleagues with him. Then if he does something, great. He might have broken my trust on an action. But it's your trust. Trust is not found in the road. Trust is yours. Trust is within. Okay, you had a question on the belief system. Belief system means, what did you believe growing up? If you believed that the model of education, some people have education, right? Education as a belief system. Some people have hard work and labor as a belief system. So there are two belief systems. The Punjab belief system pre-independence was warfare, body, was brute force. The Bengal belief system, the two key powers at that point in time, Bengal belief system is intelligence. I will defeat them through techniques, strategy. These are belief systems. So you always grow up in a belief system. If you move away too much from the belief system, example, if people migrate to the valley or migrate to Europe, from example, Trichy, whose belief system was one, and then you suddenly go and become a Kentucky man, or you suddenly become a Yankee, just because the belief systems you are influenced is yours. I've lived in 20 years. I intentionally never wanted to put up an accent. But when I speak to my Scottish friends, why I man comes out by default. But the belief system is yours. And then the value system is general, good old grandmom, granddad, mom and dad's values. Do not go to bed without brushing your teeth. It's going to cost a lot of lakhs of money. That's why they say that. In 30 years down the line. But it's good old value system, my parents. I'll tell you guys why I mentioned that as this year, because this is the big year of your life. So you will feel those systems getting shaken up by the world you're moving into. Hold on to them.
Thanks a lot, sir. That was a great answer.
Hi.
Hi. As you told, we should be creative. Basically, a lot of ideas come in our mind, but we don't know how to convert them into product. At this stage, we are not capable enough to convert those ideas into product. So, could you please throw some light on this?
What's your name?
Swapnil.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. That's a fantastic question. Don't let any idea fizzle. What smartphone do you carry?
Moto.
You have a note? You have
Yes.
a notepad?
Yes.
Can you start writing down whenever that idea comes? So,
Sir, I
write.
usually do.
Okay, write a 2-liner and save it. If you think it is exciting and exciting you still after a week, start reading about it. Everything has had a science. If you think after a month it's still exciting and you can't get it out of your head, go to your professors and ask about the neighboring subjects. Those best guides. Your professors at this age, when you have ideas, whether to crystallize them or not, are your best guides. And then you have the World Wide Web. But I don't trust the World Wide Web enough because that's just 3% of the world. 97% is the dark web, where the actual information resides. So you have to ask your professors. They are the best ones to guide you that this idea is worth going forward. And then comes the remainder of the product part of it, which is another hour.
Thank you, sir.
I will spend that amount of time at some point in time when you have that idea.
Thanks a lot,
I
sir.
don't want to just take up that time because there's a few other people who want to ask me questions. If you meet me after, I will just explain the product, idea to a product, how it gets built. But there are enough videos. If you Google the birth of a product like Jio or the birth of a product like Netflix, idea to product, that's well documented. First read up on it, then practice this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So my question to you is, a new business model that is physical is getting emerged.
Okay.
Do you think that the scope
Where did you
of-
learn that word?
Sir, I read about it. It was like the Tata company is also trying to get into that, giving a physical experience as well as the digital experience to its customers. So I just want to know that will the scope for merely digital marketing or digital field will be narrowed and it will be taken over by physical basically?
So we've always been a physical society.
No, sir. Physical I'm asking about.
I know physical, it's a TataCLiQ copyright.
Yes, sir.
Physical is, in India's context, physical is always going to be there. If people say that stores will go away, shops will go away, I can buy cycles online, I can buy perfume online, really? Maybe if I only use one sort of a perfume. Books, yes. That's the problem. Books, I have a digital ported model. So India is basically a brick and mortar country. What is it? Brick and mortar. Brick and mortar retail means dukan, stores, malls. It's not going away. It's part and parcel of our life. That in UK or America or Europe is diminishing because they are a convenient society. England is the size of Maharashtra, maybe a little tad bit smaller. People are less. So convenience prevails exploration. It's 1.4, 1.6 billion people, and we are almost half of Western Europe. They can afford to become 60% digital, but then again, there are also the shops, the exploratory part will not be there. We will remain a combination of physical and digital. So if I shop something, I can go and pick it up from the store, but I would have ordered it. Like example, if I shop on Swiggy, now I have an opportunity to go and do click and collect. I have an opportunity to do click and collect in TataCLiQ or Find. So the physical and digital has to play a combination of both parts. To the extent that Amazon Prime and Book My Show were digital companies, now they are coming into a physical forum and they're saying, example, you know Chumbak in India? Chumbak was a completely online platform and Chumbak has now opened up stores. How many people know Lenskart? Lenskart was a completely online platform and now Lenskart is opening up stores. So that's what I meant. That physical and digital as a combination. India will become more and more phygital.
Good evening, sir. May I ask a
Hi.
question?
Yes.
Hello, sir. My name is Hitesh.
Hi, Tesh.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Same here.
Sir, amazing presentation, amazing session. So my question is, I actually had the same question, but I'm asking a different question now.
Yeah.
The question is, sir, that artificial intelligence and robotics are playing a very crucial role in e-commerce. We can take example of Amazon.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about TataCLiQ and how means I don't know whether the strategy has been implemented or not. Can you tell what is the scope of it?
We are a very different platform. Amazon and Alibaba and Flipkart buy inventory from brands and they have their own warehouse. Example, Amazon Go, Amazon Prime, they have their Flipkart has owned their warehouse in Bhiwandi, they have in Bangalore, Alibaba have their warehouses in Schengen and Dalian. TataCLiQ model is very different. TataCLiQ model is, and to have warehouse means I can buy inventory in billions so that I can give you 70, 80, 90% off whenever I want to. And I can have fakes as well. Okay? So Tata, well, because Tata Group is Tata Group, and 150 years actually this year Tata Group is, TataCLiQ's model is ship it out from the store. So if you go to the TataCLiQ luxury platform where Ted Baker to Louis Girard is there, or in Marketplace, Superdry to Westside is there, we have the platform where you are able to get the product from the pin code where you have ordered it from. Say suppose I ordered it from here, I'll be able to get it out from the nearest possible store of that product. So it's a ship from store model. You know why we are 2 years and we have done mota okay is because from the brand store it's always original. That's the beauty. And I don't have to buy billions of dollars of inventory and I don't have to do 70%, 90% off all the time. Tata Group wants to make this as a brand like, exclusive brand like Tanishq. So it's a premium brand platform. I don't sell a safety pin to a cup. And some marketplaces do.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on 150 years of Tata company.
Sir, I just want to ask a question about the market.
Sure.
So, as we all know that a market is very dynamic nowadays. So, sometimes the plans which we execute are not properly executed and we have occur losses.
So market losses.
Yeah. So our market suffer losses. So what observations we have to make to just reduce that losses? What
specific which loss are you talking about? Market goes through loss and up and down. And when you say market, are you talking about Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, or
the whole? In the whole.
I don't think we're making tremendous amount of losses. The point systems are down now and then, but we're not absolutely worse off. If you see 10 years ago what our stock exchange and our, or even in US, the Dow is, we're not making human. Yes, you can say, are we heading, the question should be, are we heading for another recession like 2009?
Yes, sir.
Or are we heading to another double dip like 2009 or 2012? The answer is no, because that was based on inflation of house prices, based on inflation of mortgage which was underwritten and executed based on an algorithm which was about to go bust anyway. So when America got hurt, Europe gets lending from America, Europe got hurt. India actually didn't get affected, by the way.
Okay.
India is a cash-rich economy. India will hardly get affected, India and China. We love COD.
Thank you, sir. An honor to have you here.
Hello, sir. That was a very informative presentation. Dada, I have two questions from two little observations from TataCLiQ. The first one is that since there is no exchange policy on TataCLiQ yet and only returns, what are the measures being taken to incorporate it as it gives other e-commerce sites an edge over TataCLiQ? The second being that as Westside is a venture of Tata as well, and when we visit the stores during the seasonal sale, the club members get an additional 5% discount on a minimum purchase of 5,000 rupees. But on TataCLiQ, such discount is not available. How will this be worked upon, as it's a great sign of valuing the customer?
Firstly, you will send me an email address and you will write it to me on my official so that I can get you that discount before you ask me that question next time again. So, okay, exchange. Exchange we are implementing. So, Flipkart is 10 years old, Amazon is 25 years. Though tech took 25 and 10 years to build, we are trading in our third year. We are launching exchange by November because the mobile phones require an exchange is important. We are launching exchange by November. Loyalty program comes April to July 2019. That's the tech roadmap. Yes, so we are building a loyalty program not only for Westside, by the way, because we've got Reliance Brands, we've got Steve Madden, we've got Superdry, we've got Shopper Stop, everyone. So building it for everybody's loyalty program, which can be integrated. So during checkout, you can redeem it and then keep building. So TataCLiQ right now actually has EGV and Click Cash, which is where you can buy a gift voucher and redeem it and apply it. Westside, here's a tip. If you're a Westside fan, are you?
Yes, sir.
Good. Every January 1st.
Yes, sir, there's a sale.
So that's called end of season sale. Put it in your reminders and be ready because I open up the platform
at 12
o'clock.
July as well.
Yeah, July is, we just finished EOSS. And I'm saying coming January 1st o'clock, put a reminder. I'm going to put the sale up at 12 o'clock and millions of people, and that's a nightmare for me as a technology leader, but you guys are on. So put things on your wish list if you're a Westside customer and if you like Westside. 7 दिन पहले आप wish list में जाकर रह लो so that you don't have to do the browse and explore. So you log in, check out.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My question is that in today's world, there is a lot of data stealing of data, and our privacy is going up to the toss. As a concerned nation, Indian student, it should be concerned that we should not face or we should not come across to the market and all.
Thank you. Great question. It is. There's a video in YouTube where an individual takes out SIM, the battery, for the whole day, and Google still knows where he's been all day. That's called private tech. That's called snooping tech. Can't stop it. So, every platform you're logged in, go through the privacy settings. Basic minimal information profile is what the public profile should have for your purposes. For public platforms, GSTN is secured with a 256K SSL, which is what CIA, FBI, RAW uses. Aadhaar is secured by 512. That encryption is incredible. We are facing on an hourly basis, I am sorry to say, cyber attacks from Russia and Chinese servers. But we're fending off exceptionally well.
But sir, recently that Aadhaar link data has been stolen by the tribunal.
Everybody knows. How we are preventing it is what I'm trying to say and what you should do. What the government is doing, I can't tell you, and you shouldn't be bothered. Okay? What you should be bothered is how can you protect your Aadhaar information? Have you logged into the Aadhaar website?
Yes, sir.
Okay, change the privacy settings. First things people do is never log into the Aadhaar platform. First thing you should do is change your privacy settings. And Aadhaar is not only the way. Aadhaar has what? Aadhaar has your home address, right?
Fingerprint biometric.
Fingerprint biometric. The hospital also has that. Hospital also has that. Sundarban also has that.
Yes, sir.
WhatsApp is encrypted, but WhatsApp also is a server, cloud server, where you're sharing very, 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 very intense conversations and private conversations, right?
Yes, sir.
Tech is never 100% secured. Was never built to. We can only build on encryptions. We can only secure it as and when we find. Every part of America, every household in America has got 7 digitally connected devices, and they're getting every 45 days one household is hit. So be conscious about how much data you want to share, because we are all going to face attacks in some form or the other. As and when the attacks happen, we learn more.
Yes, sir.
As and when the attacks, we learn more and we protect. But it is not only, of course, the government will do everything. The cyber policies got renewed before Netanyahu and our Honorable Prime Minister signed the cyber policy deal. But what you have to think about is, how do you protect your data? I can write it down. Many people in this room have their password as password. And don't raise your hands, I know who you are. I am part of a lot of ethical hacking community, which is where we protect organizations' data. But it's an ongoing process. India just is about to be connected in 900 towns. It will take time. Let us connect. Best part, what did I say? One day switch off. You know the best सबसे secured place कहाँ पे है? जहाँ पे internet is not connected. The big vaults, which require a lot of combination to open. It doesn't have any electronic connection. It's scary, but we have to protect our own data. I am very conscious about protecting my kids' data. I am very, very conscious about protecting what my family data is, what my work data is. So, as I said, passwords should not be passwords. Privacy settings across 30 apps you all have in your phones. Look after them. But you don't need to get rid of it. Your data is yours. You're as vulnerable as I am. But basic hygiene is important, and as and when the attacks are happening, we are solving it. That's the only answer I can give you right now.
Thank you, sir.
So, sir, as a part of a digital marketing campaign, can we use website captcha for the brand awareness?
Yeah, you can. You can. A lot of people are trialing it out. Not proven that it's going to impact conversion, but they are trialing it out. You should. Ready-made. It's there for you too. It's like a little API which is already a plug and play. Where do you want to use it?
So, sir?
Where do you want to use it?
Sir, in the railway tickets, they always have a captcha that, and in various sites
It's a
also.
security form. It's a security form.
Yes,
Because
sir.
for COD, you will have to use CAPTCHA, so that it's not a bot.
If that captcha is the name of my organization, sir?
No,
the
you
brand
have to
awareness?
put a random CAPTCHA on it. CAPTCHA cannot be linear. CAPTCHA has to be random.
So a few days back, actually, I was booking a train ticket. So in that, it was written Paytm, sir. And I really like that marketing strategy of them. So
It's a good way to influence,
okay.
but it's also security vulnerability, the one which is important also.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
a good way to trial it out and see. If you do a trialing out and you see what the audience is saying, is the conversion moving good enough? Hi, sorry.
Nitin here, sir.
Hi, Nitin.
So my question is, there are two sorts of MNCs or organizations which are in tech domain. One is like Apple, which are very innovation driven.
Okay.
The second one is like Microsoft, which are very more sort of corporates.
Product driven.
So in coming future, which companies will be able to create more values in the society or the customer with whom they operate? So which company will be more value adding in the coming future? Because I have seen that Microsoft is doing well as compared to Apple in terms of numbers and that.
Would you not say AWS is doing well?
Amazon Web Services, yes sir.
Yeah. Would you not say Adobe is doing well with Creative Cloud and Marketing Cloud? Right. SAP, you are all have SAP accreditation. It's a German billions and billions of dollars of company. They've got 4,500 products. I think the way to look at it is whether a retail product tech company is going to grow faster, or a software product company. The answer to that is there will always be an Apple. There is always going to be a Samsung, because there will always be a hardware is the most exciting thing for a human being. Hardware product companies like Samsung, Apple, Xiaomi's new TV. It's 32,000 rupees for 60-inch TV, which is as thin as this. The tech they have put in. So hardware retail tech companies, like what we are saying, they'll always have a place. But the software product companies, their growth path is very different. You're not going to go get away with Amazon or AWS or IBM or SAP or Adobe in the near future, because all of the evangelization, the innovation, the invention happen in the software product companies. As much it happens in the hardware. So hardware, software, there's always going to be a parallel track going through. Thanks.
That was just incredible, Dada. Dada, you know, a lot of people have a lot of questions, and thank you for sharing that. You know, you'll be available for answering questions on the Twitter, on your Facebook handle. We'll share it with the class here. Thank you for the masterclass. I know there's a formal thank you note, but Dada, before we let you go, one last question, right? The students here are going to invest their next 2 years, and you've done a fantastic job summarizing everything, right? What is the one top 2 tips that you would like to pass on? Top 2 tips that if you would go back 22 years and put yourself in their shoes, we didn't have a lot of tech and availability of information, etc. How would you, if you were in their shoes, what would you do? The top 2 tips they got.
The first tip is, you know, when your professors are teaching, the energy and the ability they will spend there, if you can grab what is being taught in your classrooms, that learning is irreplaceable. You can go through the textbook, you can walk through, but when they explain a module in the classroom, if you can grab, so it's an attention span issue for all of you. You will have to ensure those 45 minutes or those hours when the professors are taking class, because that they are putting their experience, contextualizing, they have studied about it, they have, you know, rehearsed about it. You cannot afford to go back and explore and read. You have to do that for exams anyway. But the learning, there is a difference between knowledge and there's a difference between learning. Knowledge comes after you learn what is being taught in class. The first tip is try to grab as much possible within the class. You will get tremendous insights. The second tip is, as I said, Deepak, I think the first year, 2 months, the age where you are in, stop taking preconceived ideas, notions, and create opinions. You explore. I've said you have to be curious. Don't have preconceived notions about something. Explore, research, you will figure out your opinion will matter the most. It's not writing a social network post. If you genuinely have an opinion, think of what your opinion is worth. So you have to do a lot more research. So don't stop researching and analyzing what you see as content consumption, because that could become the biggest distraction for your next 3 years. As I said, second tip is you have to switch off for a day with that device you carry. That is mandatory.
Fabulous. Dada, I know I'm becoming greedy here. One last question. All right. We have a lot of people in the room, in the house, that are non-technical.
Sure.
Cannot program, cannot code, but they're learning business now. How will a non-programming background, a commerce, a BA, BBA, kind of, you know, transition into a digital tech business?
Well, do you see that? I don't have an engineering background or an MBA, more importantly. I was an eco-stats math student. And then I did computing and financial computing. But see, you have to sell, you have to be part of marketing, you have to be part of sales, you have to know your numbers, hence the P&L ownership. You have to know your accounts, or else no innovation or tech makes any difference. You know why Zuckerberg is crying today? Because in the stock market, he got hit by 150 billion, right? So, at the end of the day, all of your tech showing off doesn't matter if you can't market, if you can't know your accounts. As a big example, I'm St. Xavier's Eco-Stats Maths Calcutta morning student. And then masters in Calcutta University. Then I did a migrational masters in UCL. And then I did my research, which was again tech. So I learned it. I don't have an MBA. You have to know all spheres to be a part of the business. Accounts, marketing, P&L ownership, sales, and at the end of the day, tech. And on top of it, as I said, horizontal has to be analytics and data. You can't do accounts without data. You can't do marketing without data. You can't do sales without data. You can't do manufacturing without data. That has to have you have to have an analytical thinking. But I can say that you don't need to be completely tech or engineering focused to run the other parts of the business. People have to run retail. People have to run healthcare. Tech is a subset. Tech is an enabler. I still have to run hospitals. I still have to run the government. I still have to run factories like Tata Steel. I still have to run Starbucks. That's got nothing to do with tech. But it's an enabler.
Fantastic. Give a huge last round of applause for Sauvik Dada here. Fantastic. I think your probably your first impression of the crowd is going to be fantastic. Yeah.
I think
you love
the
this crowd?
questions what these guys have asked, I'm well impressed. I can't believe they're first years. I mean, sir, sir, you guys have got a great bunch. I hope this year, and they're amazing. I mean, if this is the quality of questioning and the grilling I'm getting, you have a hard task in the next few years to mold their heads and heart and their lives. So good luck to you all.
Fabulous.
I would now request Deepak Rai sir to present our guest a token of gratitude.
Thank you so much. Wow, this is amazing. Absolutely. Wow, thank you so much, Deepak. I'll take a selfie with you all. So, huddle up, get up and huddle up a little bit more.
I would now invite student manager Preksha Jain to give vote of thanks to our honorable chief guest.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I, Preksha Jain, student manager, Sri Balaji Society, feel privileged to propose the vote of thanks on this inspirational evening. I would like to thank our guest, Mr. Sauvik Banerjjee, for visiting our institute and sharing digital information. Today's evening is full of innovative ideas, expansion of digital markets, and how networking helps to make our lives better. He talked about the data analytics, BUI, FUI, and TUI. He also told us about the importance of IoT, people as well as machine learning. When he explained the theory of how, what, and when, that was really awesome, sir. The point where Sir motivated us to watch Shawshank Redemption was a great inspirational thing. I believe the precious knowledge which Sir shared will definitely improve our perception more towards the e-commerce market. His mantras of success are trust, belief system, and values. I would like to thank our beloved Bala sir, who creates a wonderful opportunity to interact with such an eminent personality. Also, I would like to thank Deepak Rai sir for facilitating today's event. At last, thank you Sauvik sir for sparing out your valuable time to interact with us. After we got to know that you are addressing us, some of us went ahead and saw your TEDx videos. And I must emphasize on the fact that you did not only teach us, but you influenced us. I would like to conclude with Sir's quote, ideas are agnostic to race, caste, and society. So keep thinking and keep innovating. Thank you so much, sir.